ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living right here in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Good morning, John Gray. I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
And good morning, Jim Fuller.
Good morning, Peggy.
It's always good to see you guys.
You as well.
Did you light up a few firecrackers this weekend?
I'm tired of firecrackers myself. They're still going off in my neighborhood.
How does Doodlebot like firecrackers?
Oh my
She
gosh.
doesn't like them.
Poor baby.
She does not like them.
That is hard on a dog.
Well, you know, Tabitha and I were on the food show last night, Tennessee Traveler, and she has 2 dogs, and I asked her how her dogs did, and she said, well, the older one's 16 years old, and she doesn't hear anything, so it didn't bother her.
Yeah.
And the little one is about 3 months old, and it was barking and raising Cain until she picked it up and held it up to where it could see the fireworks.
And it liked it?
And it liked the fireworks. He was watching the fireworks and didn't bark anymore.
Oh, so cute.
So put a show on.
Yeah.
We had, I think we're going to have some footage. Andrew and some of our group was over there at the fireworks show this last week, and we're going to have some footage of music and fireworks and stuff on our show today.
Tullahoma offers a beautiful production.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, and it gets better every year.
I wonder how many people came. Any idea?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Thousands.
Yeah. Thousands.
And there's a band. Philip went over there and got some music of a band called Six Wire.
Yeah.
Six Wire.
Which is another name for a guitar.
Yeah.
6 strings on the
Six-string guitar.
And they're the band that plays for the Predators.
Wow.
All the Predators games, and they were the band that was on the main stage for the NFL draft when it was in Nashville.
Right.
And these guys are all studio musicians that have gotten together and formed this band called Six Wire. And I think the song that we're going to do is Philip got is called The Beast.
Yeah.
And what it is it's a mashup of all of the great guitar licks that have been in numerous great songs.
That's
and
cool.
they've probably changed the key a little bit to where they just flow right into one another.
Yeah.
And Philip said, Philip, our producer's, he's a music guy and worked in studios in Nashville as a sound guy. And
until he got the dream job of his life and came to work for us in Tullahoma.
So crawling around on the floor trying to get television to work. So, he's gone. He's heard a lot of music. He and Andrew, Bonnaroo, and all that. And he said he was blown away by it.
Yeah.
So we're going to have that on the show today and different things like that. Have the Airfoilers here.
Yeah.
And their little thing is coming up very soon. I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Their event.
Yes, ma'am.
The 23rd, I believe.
Yeah. And they have some planes over there and some Blossom Merriman's
And we have Blossom
here.
Merriman with the museum at South Jackson Civic Center.
Just all kinds of good stuff
going
on.
And I think little Miss Annie is going to be on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
And Annie is at South Jackson, and that starts what, next week?
Next week, yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's just the same as always. A lot of stuff going on around here. Of course, schools, a lot of these kids are getting in and families are getting their last little fling in because I think school starts maybe in a couple of weeks.
You're probably right.
Yeah, back in the old days, they waited a while.
Well, they waited till sometime in September.
Yeah, at least after Labor Day, I think.
You got a full summer.
But kids are busy these days.
Yeah, but they get several breaks.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I think they like that.
Yeah.
At the beginning, maybe not, but I think back to how wonderful our summers were because we were off.
Yeah.
And we had 3 months to travel and have fun.
And 3 months back then seemed like an eternity.
It did.
Yeah. Now it's
forever.
It's over in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I know.
Now it's just gone.
Yeah.
Just
It's what happens when you start living in the fast lane, which most of us always have.
Fast lane. Well, the whole world's in a fast lane right now.
Trouble is, everybody's passing me by. I'm going so. I'm not quite keeping up.
I want to apologize to the world because I don't know exactly everything I should sometimes. But is the women's soccer over?
Yes.
Did the USA win that again?
World champion.
So that's the 4th time in a row?
I think it's their 4th.
That's incredible.
Yes, it
It
is.
is more than incredible, and I guess everybody's wondering if they're getting paid enough.
And there's a huge controversy about that, and you got to sympathize with them.
Second in a row.
Second in a row. Okay.
4th overall, but second in a row. Yeah.
Well, that's
Andrew's our
pretty good.
sports guy. That's Andrew Todd out there. Shortcut. He got a haircut.
He's our walking encyclopedia.
Yeah, he is. One of the brightest guys I know.
That's right. Yeah, there's a huge controversy about that because they got $30 million for that, I think.
I know. Think about it.
And when the men win, they get like $400 million.
I know, and that's just wrong.
It is just wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
They make much less than men do, less than half.
And there was a lot.
And yet their program, the women's program, grosses more money than the men's program does because it's so good.
Well,
see, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Is it proportionate to the income coming into the stadium?
No, I think this is totally different. When we think of maybe college football,
right?
Well, college football head coaches and men's head coaches make a lot more money than everybody else, and yet they're responsible for a lot more, and that program produces tremendous amounts of revenue, basically supporting most of the other sports in college, except maybe basketball.
Yeah.
Well, but what my response is to that is, let's take two things that are equal.
Yeah.
Let's take men's college basketball versus women's college basketball. Do those two coaches get paid the same?
No.
But what if it's a man coaching a woman's team, like up in?
It's the same thing.
He would get less.
He would get less than the men in most cases. Now, an exception to that was Pat Summitt, because Pat Summitt made.
She took it out of a hole.
I think she made about the same as Phil Fulmer, who was the men's football coach.
She deserved every
Well, there wouldn't be
penny she
women's
made,
basketball if it wasn't for Pat Summitt.
Yeah,
right.
and besides that, her program was profitable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of what you have to look at.
Yeah.
I understand Title IX, and I understand women need to be paid equal pay to men, working in the same situation. And a lot of this is in offices, in office buildings. The woman will. But Michael Bush did a painting, one of his paintings. It shows a guy in a suit in an office building, with his cup of coffee in his hand, looking out a glass window, and when you look down at the floor, it's a glass floor, and his feet go through the floor, and he's standing on the shoulders of a woman.
Yeah, and that's very
seriously Michael
true.
Bush is brilliant. I love Michael.
He is brilliant. I wish we need to have him back on this show.
But the thing about it is if you start a football program and it's been in existence for 70 years. And you have a bus, and you have a quarterback club, and you have stuff. I don't believe you should be able to start a new sport
at that level.
And those people should be able to get the same stuff just because they're
right.
I don't care whether they're black, yellow, white, blue, female, or whatever. They need to grow their own sport. They don't need to just start off.
I think that works in any activity.
Oh yeah.
This
case of women's soccer, though, it's maybe there's something to it. I don't know, but there's a huge discrepancy in hearing what they.
Well, and the thing about it is
unfair.
It might just be me.
Yeah.
But I'd rather watch the women play, just like a lot of people would rather watch the Lady Vols play basketball than the men.
Exactly.
Particularly when Pat was up there. Right. And I tell you what I get hooked on is college women's softball.
Yeah.
They are some of the most incredible athletes.
Right.
And it is just phenomenal to watch those women play softball.
And is their profit equal to the male?
Well, let me tell you what they do. During their championships, they take over ESPN for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's making some money for somebody.
Yeah. I would think.
Or it wouldn't be on
there
like that. So.
I wish I made that kind of money.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that gives them the only thing I don't like that much, and it's not about gender. I just don't think because you're a star that gives you the right to lecture me about anything, or anybody. Don't take your stardom and stand up on a stump
like you have all the answers.
Particularly at an awards banquet.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, go buy yourself some time on TV and you can stump all you want to.
Yeah.
But don't do it while I'm watching to see who's winning Song of the Year.
Are you talking about like political things?
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
You can say what you want to say, but don't think just because you're making more money than the rest of us, that means we need to listen to you.
Yeah, right.
Okay, then.
Couple of
what
things.
Have you written?
Hey, couple of things. I had a dear friend pass away last week, Milt Davis Sr. You know Milt.
Oh, yeah.
And Milt was a great guy. He was one of those guys that got involved and was always wise and open and to younger people, and he and I were very good friends. And I wrote this for Milt. It said, because life passes on, as does those that live it. All life is precious, but some lives are very special. The ones that really care, love deeply, and are fierce friends.
I lost
And he
a
was a
cousin
fierce
this week,
friend.
and that reminds me of, he was my age. His family moved to Texas, and we lost him, and I feel that same way
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
He was very special.
And you wonder, you think, well, and he was big in church work, and who's going to take the place of these people? Well, they are. If you look around, you see the next generation
Yeah.
of Milt Davises doing that role of things that he did, and it's not like when he goes away, it all goes away. He didn't. When he jumped out of the boat, he didn't leave the river.
Yeah.
He just floated.
Right.
I like that. That's good.
And here's another one that I wrote because I do this a lot. Much of our time is spent waiting on a plane, a doctor, an appointment, an answer, especially on a woman or a dream. Waiting can be brutal, but it opens the path to all the wonders residing within anticipation.
That's pretty good. You've
Yeah, I
thought
like
that
the part
through.
about waiting
Yeah,
on a
wait.
woman or a dream.
But anticipation can bring so many things into your mind. You think,
Oh, sure.
oh man, what if this happens? Or oh man, what if that happens?
Yeah.
And you see things. It opens up your mind to things that might be true, it might happen, or might not be happening.
Waiting.
Waiting.
I did a lot of waiting in the Philippine
Oh, I
Islands.
bet.
And one time I was in the post office waiting in line to send Christmas gifts home, and there was a line forever. And I counted all the squares in the top of the building. So my waiting is not creative. It's always counting.
I'm a counter.
Do you do that?
Yes, I do.
count
I count.
things, and somehow it gets me through it.
I count. I really do. Sometimes I
bet
catch myself counting steps between here and there.
Yeah.
I do that. Like how many steps it take to get to the swimming pool, take out the robot, clean it out, put it back in. Then should I have gone to
How
the
many
left?
calories did I burn?
Yeah.
I remember when I
I do
was
that
going.
too, and
Do you do that?
I thought I was a little weird.
You are
No,
a
it's
little weird.
numbers
We
people.
all are.
Numbers people do that.
Yeah.
Numbers people count.
Yeah.
I've done that
Usually-
probably most of my life.
Usually when I'm mowing the yard at the office, when I get to that, that little island
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the front, when I get there, I'm pretty tired and hot. And I know that it takes 13 passes
Yeah.
around that
So
little
you
thing.
start counting.
To get it
Yeah, so I start counting at that point.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Lordy.
somehow it works.
Hey, we need to count on out of here because it's time to take a quick commercial break and we'll get on with the rest of today's show. Count on it.
The wait is finally over. The all-new redesigned Ford Ranger is back at Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Stop and test drive one today at Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma on Highway 55, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available, All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hey folks, if you didn't get a chance to go to the 4th of July celebration on the 3rd of July here in Tullahoma, we're going to take you there right now to hear Vinyl Radio performing We're an American Band.
Well, Grand Funk Railroad Club, I'm an American band, baby! Woo! More cowbell! Happy birthday, America! Let's be good to each other!
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maiden. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, I was talking to my next guest over here, which is some folks from the Coffee County Airfoilers. To my left is Paul Green, and to his left is Ernie Miller, who claims he is the communicator of the Coffee Airfoilers here. And they're going to communicate with us today because they've got a big event coming up in a couple of weeks. And this is, which I think you're the chairman of that event, right, Paul?
Yes, sir, I am. It will be Warbirds Fly-In, July 19, 20, and 21.
Now, these planes that you have on the stage here with us, I assume they're Warbirds,
yes,
replicas of Warbirds.
Yes, World War II.
Yeah.
Except for that one in the middle, that's a Predator. That's the one they use now.
Is that a drone?
Yes, sir.
Kind of thing?
Yes, sir.
I thought I'd seen it on TV.
That's the one they fly all over everywhere to do a whole lot of stuff.
Is this the Predator? Is that like the one that got shot down recently?
It's similar to it, but the one that got shot down was one of the larger ones. It was a jet, actually. Had the ability to stay a long, long time, and so they took it down.
So I imagine when you guys see something like this on TV, probably means you probably know more details about it than the average person, do you not?
Yes, sir. And of course, something like that is, being a military man myself, is very troubling.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now you got to. We'll get back to the subject, which I have to admit I'm a little fascinated by the fact that you guys are so knowledgeable about this thing. But you got an event coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, we will be doing a Warbird Fly-In out at the club field, which is located on Wattendorf Highway, right next to the Arnold Golf Club. That'll be July 19, 20, and 21, with most of the activity happening on the 20th. We will have planes like you see here. We'll have planes that are much larger, some up to 10 feet wingspans.
Oh, my goodness.
And some as small as 16-inch wingspans.
Yeah.
So they'll be powered by either wet fuel, gasoline, or model airplane fuel, or electric.
I see.
Now, like this one here is electric, right, Paul?
Yes, it is.
And that one in the middle is electric, and that one over there is gas.
Now, electric, does that mean they fly from
batteries and electric motors?
Batteries, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And these that we're seeing here actually all fly, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it more difficult to fly a plane that has a 10-foot wingspan than it is a smaller one?
Not at all.
Easier.
Really?
Easier. Yeah. They're easier to fly, actually. They're just more stable. They'll take the higher winds, and they're just more stable.
So do you sort of have to need to know something about flying prior to
yes, sir.
To bringing one up?
Yes, sir. And this gentleman right here is one of our instructors.
I see.
That teaches them to fly.
Yeah. Okay. Were you on the show once when we talked about this, and you guys, some representatives from your organization was here, and I told them about the drone my daughter bought me, and I had it 30 minutes, and it was in the woods somewhere, and I've not seen it since.
That happens. That happens. Yeah.
By instructor, does that mean you actually teach people to fly these things?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah.
We have open flying lessons on Saturday mornings, and we have the club also has 4 instructors, and any of us are happy to help any person that wants to learn how to fly, to learn to do it on a Saturday morning or by appointment.
I see.
And they can teach them to fly anything from the drones to the biggest airplanes we got.
Right. So for this event coming up, the Warbirds event, do people come from other places, I assume, other than just Tullahoma?
We are going to have people from other states coming and from other cities in town. So traditionally, we've had people come from Alabama, Georgia. This year we may have some from Florida. We've got from other cities such as Nashville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, all around the area.
Kentucky, Mississippi.
And you guys are pretty active in doing
yes,
this.
Sir.
You guys stay pretty busy. I know we see a number of events throughout the year that you guys are actually putting on out there.
That's true. This event is one of the 2 largest events we have. We have the Warbirds fly-in here in July, and then in August we have what we call a giant scale fly-in that comes, and we'll be talking more about that with you folks later as it approaches. But we do put on about 8 events every year.
At least, yeah.
Okay.
And we actually have 2 that's conducted on the lake.
Oh, okay.
Water planes.
There are water planes?
Yes, sir. Float planes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we do 2 events every year just for that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Of course, they're on Normandy out on the Woods Reservoir.
Right.
I mean, I said Normandy. That's wrong. They're on Woods Reservoir on Arnold Air Force Base.
I see. Okay. So these planes here, though, how much money does somebody have in one of these planes when they build it? For instance, that one there, just roughly, would you guess?
That one, the Mustang, has, by the time you put batteries in your radio into the airplane, after your initial purchase, you've got about $500.
$500, okay.
And the motor, like it's in that one right there, costs usually about $300 or $400.
This one here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Unreal.
And
so you would be pretty sad if you crashed it, wouldn't you?
You have no idea.
Okay. We have pilots that have planes that, as we've said, about 10-foot wingspans, and those are topping the $2,000 and $3,000 mark. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If they lose something, they're not very happy.
And also, we're probably going to have some jets.
We will probably have some jets coming. We've got some friends of mine from the club down in Chattanooga who are promising to bring some genuine turbine jet military scale planes.
No kidding.
And they start at about $2,000 and go up.
And I would imagine that the skill level to be able to fly one of those is a little bit higher learning curve than maybe these, right?
Especially the jets.
Yeah, right. Okay, we're going to run out of time. I haven't even told them when this is coming up again. Tell me the date.
The dates are July 19, 20, and 21.
Okay. And it will be where?
It will be located on Arnold Air Force Base at right next to the Arnold Golf Club.
Right before you get to the golf club.
Right before you get to the golf club.
Right.
And that is at the Coffee Airfoilers Club Field.
Right. Okay. Now, if you don't, can you actually get instructions on how to fly one of these that day or during that weekend?
It won't be that day and that weekend.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be kind of busy doing that.
Right. I would think so.
Now, our event's open to pilots from all over, and for spectators that'd like to come, there's no charge to come out and see us.
Okay, you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
We'll have some concessions on Saturday and possibly on Sunday. So for those that are come out and got hot and thirsty and hungry, we've got something for them too.
Right.
So come watch us and learn to fly, and then fly with us.
That's right. Okay, and it really does look like fun. I don't have.
It is fun.
After I wrecked my $89 airplane, I don't have the guts.
You've heard of the phrase "connection fit"?
Yes.
Well, when you put one of the big ones down, I always take a video of the guy.
I don't think you're kidding, Ernie. You probably do.
I do.
You seem like the kind of guy that would actually do that.
I do.
Okay.
We have fun.
All right. That's coming up 2 weeks, I think, from this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. So, and again, they welcome people to come out and just observe.
Absolutely.
If you don't know how to fly, you might get into it. Who knows?
This man right here can teach you to fly.
Can teach you. And guaranteed not to crash your aircraft, right?
He didn't say that.
Not guarantee. I can't guarantee you that you won't crash your aircraft, but you won't crash the one you're learning to fly.
No, that's true.
Oh, okay.
That's true. That's right.
Good point. Good point. Guys, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Brother.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Folks, we'll be right back in just a moment with more living.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And I'm Pat Welch. And John, this is the 18th segment of the conversation
You're
with
keeping
John and
count.
Pat.
That's
I'm
good.
keeping good count. And we probably owe John Gray introduced. We had a repeat of the first segment last week, and he was so glowing.
Stunning
in his
job.
Stunning, yeah. I've been kind of walking on air ever since. It's probably highly undeserved, but it was awful kind
You'd
of
almost think we was somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're going to do our feeble attempt.
We're going to come down to reality right here.
Yeah, right here. And we're going to do a little song. And my brother and I learned to play music with a 5-minute guitar lesson book, and I haven't gone very far past that. We sent off from some far-off state some albums. They were from Star Day Records, and this little song was on there. Oh, I wanna go south where the Southern hospitality, that's the place for me. Back in Tennessee, that's where I long to be. Take away this cotton picking, give me some of that home fried chicken. Georgia, Mississippi, or Carolina, just as long as way down south is where I am. I wanna go south where all the folks are good to me. The big towns, they ain't so fine, done been away too long. Take me back where I belong, below the Mason-Dixon line. Said I wanna go south where the Southern hospitality, that's the place for me. City slickers call us Hicks, but we love it in the sticks. Cornbread and turnip greens smoking, that's eating, I ain't joking. Georgia, Mississippi, or Carolina, just as long as way down south is where I am. I wanna go south where all the folks are good to me. The big towns ain't so fine, done been away too long. Take me back where I belong, below the Mason-Dixon line. I ain't a joking, below the Mason-Dixon line.
Wow.
We get
John, if you learn that from a 5-minute lesson, that's one fine instructor there.
Well, I've got about 10 minutes advance now.
I got you.
Not very far.
I got you.
My guitar playing is just there to accompany my singing for the most part.
Or we could say it was not just a fine instructor, but an exceptional student.
My brother was the best musician out of the family. We're going to talk politics today.
All right.
And you're going to talk about some politics in Tullahoma.
Yeah. Don't anybody get too concerned, though. We're not going to talk about the national presidential race.
No, nothing like that.
No.
But I wrote this one time, and no need of me trying to bring it up here when it's down in writing, so I thought I would talk about my uncle who ran for office in Chapel Hill. As election time draws near, I'm reminded of the story about my great uncle who ran for office in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. He became interested in serving on the town council and therefore threw his hat in the ring. Now, my uncle wasn't a bad fella, but he wasn't perfect either. He had made a fair living at trading. He dealt in livestock or anything else he could make a dollar in selling. In the process of making this money, he had skinned nearly everyone within driving distance. The folks around Chapel Hill accepted him for what he was, and they had become cautious about doing business with him, though. He politicked pretty well, pretty heavy before election, and even treated the community to a corn roast. This was a way, perhaps, of paying back the town for a long series of bad deals. Election day came, and my uncle received only 2 votes. He and his wife had gone to the polls, but folks weren't absolutely sure how she voted. Anyway, he was soundly defeated. The day after election, he showed up in Chapel Hill wearing a gun on his hip. You can just imagine how the folks in town were talking about the election results and why my uncle was wearing a gun. Had he gone mad? Finally, someone got up the nerve to ask him why the gun. His response, I'm sure this has been shared by other unsuccessful politicians after Election Day. A man that has no more friends than I do needs some protection.
Now, John, did you write, is that a letter to the editor?
Well, yeah, years. I think I did it in '87, which is a long, long time ago, but I still had it on file, so I thought I'd bring that out.
Well, that's a great one.
You and I have no new ideas.
That's true. There's not a whole lot of originality to us, John. But that is a great segment, and we can tie that into segment 17, in which we talked about Mr. Ratcliffe. And for those that didn't have the pleasure of viewing that, we remind you that Mr. Ratcliffe and his brother, James, I believe, moved to Tullahoma from Selma in the early 1930s. The parents felt like they would get a better education here. And Robert married the oldest Harton girl of John W. Harton, and was a great citizen of Tullahoma for his whole life. And I ended up, we mentioned playing golf with him several times when I first moved to Tullahoma in the late 1970s and the early 1980s when I first got to know him, and revered him pretty well. And it would have been local municipal elections in either 80 or 81, I believe. I was wondering who we needed to vote for, and I can't remember what the real issues were at the time, but there was one group running for alderman that looked like to me wasn't very interested in the town growing or having financial prosperity or bringing new businesses in, that type of thing. And there was a group that was. And of course, the Hartons had quite a bit of a tax liability that sometimes growth could add to, and Robert, we said, was pretty adverse to spending his own money, but he was really pro Tullahoma, and the fact is that he wanted to help it grow.
People might say, a musician might say he was tight as a banjo string.
Personally. But he didn't mind spending a little bit to help Tullahoma. he wasn't much on buying new socks and things like that for himself, I can tell you that. But so we've got two groups of people running, and an election that there's a lot of interest in. And so I asked him on the golf course, I said, Mr. Ratcliffe, who you going to vote for? He said, well, I hadn't had time, and there was a citizen of town that lived close to the golf course that he was not on the pro-growth side, and we'll just say his name was George, and that wasn't his name. And Robert, or Mr. Ratcliffe said, well, I haven't been by George's yard yet to see his signs. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I just checked who he's going to vote for and support with those signs in his front yard, and then I just vote for the other ones, and then I know we've voted for progress. And we're now that we've told a good story on Uncle Robert, we're getting a sign that it just about has ended the 18th segment.
Well,
John.
We've sure enjoyed today.
We've had a great time.
We've winding up a thing or two. You know, we had a segment not too long talking about musicians. And one of our songwriter buddies, John Gray, great songwriter. Ray Price did one of his songs not too long ago. And you know, we forgot to mention the Hamilton family that particular day, because they're doing great things even in Nashville in studio work and so forth.
And they first got started, I think, in gospel music, but they've really branched out. There's some of them that are involved in jazz now. They're really a really talented family.
Right. Well, anyway, that's it today.
That should do it. And as Mr. Couch said, that's not the end of the conversation, John. There's more to come.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community, because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Blossom Merriman with me today, and she's always up to something, but mainly it's about the museum at South Jackson Civic Center. Blossom, what's
yes.
new?
Oh, gosh, okay, thank you. What's new? What's new?
Well, it's the world treating you.
Okay.
So you've got a new exhibit coming up.
We do. And for Annie opening this Thursday on the 11th at 7 p.m. Come 45 minutes early, and you can go in the museum and have a nice quiet look at things, because if you wait till intermission, you'll get stomped.
It's too many
people,
yeah.
Come early, get your ticket, go back to the museum. We'll be open, like I say, early, and we get real disappointed when nobody comes early, because then it's calm and you can see things. But here's what we got inspired over, is that we had a collection of miniature dollhouse furniture that we didn't have any way to do anything with, because it was just too small to sit around here and there. And you know, sometimes people might try to take a little souvenir.
Oh, sure.
And so the museum committee studied on this, and if you know Anita and Zach Vince Zaccardi.
Wonderful.
They've been on the museum committee for many years, along with Greg Klein and several other folks, and they put their heads together. And I said, how about that space in the hall, right between the two rooms? It's blanker than a post. And it needs something in there. I said, how about a shadow box of some sort? But it's got to be secure, it's got to be shallow, it's got to be all these things. And I said, how about we put levels of furniture, the little miniature furniture? And I have dubbed that, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Daddy Warbucks Mini Mansion.
Mini Mansion.
Mini Mansion.
Love that.
And we have very formal furniture. We have tiny little champagne glasses about this tall. And the elegant furniture is on the first two levels. And then we have a maid, and the dogs and cats and everything are playing upstairs. Now, we do not have Annie because she's out trucking around somewhere.
She's out trucking around.
You know how that is.
She's doing a play on the stage.
She is, that's right. But she's kind of our inspiration here, because I didn't know if Annie ever really had a dollhouse. I did a little research.
Did you have a dollhouse growing up?
I had a little dollhouse, yeah. But she did have one in at least one production of Annie.
Okay.
It's down on the stage floor. You have to go online to see that.
Okay.
But they had quite a to-do. I didn't know this was such a long-range thing. I looked back, and there was a poem that involved somebody named Little Orfanato.
Yeah.
Oh, and I thought, what? And I'm going, what? But anyway, you can kind of look that up online and get a little of that background about how this play evolved to the point where it is now. And there's takeoffs on it too. You know, everybody doesn't do the same thing. So
no, every time you see it, it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, and I don't know which one we're doing. But Daddy Warbucks, you know, he was a very rich man. You know.
I know.
And she moved. It's a rags to riches story with a dog and a kid. You can't miss.
You can't miss.
You can't miss on that, right, people?
I always wondered, do they have a dog in this? I think so.
Well, they have to have a Sandy of some sort, or else they're going to have to talk about the dog a lot. And how they got the first Sandy they used from an adoption. It was a dog nobody wanted, and they had to drag it out. They said it's been abused. You know, you'll never do anything with this. This is on the stage in Connecticut.
Yeah,
it's one of the famous old theaters in Connecticut. You'll have to look it up. I don't want to misquote it, but the guy they said, well, the fee to adopt a dog is $7, and the guy said. He was an intern in the theater there, and all he had was $3. And they said, well, this dog is scheduled for execution in the morning. This is how my son got his dog. He went down, and there was one that in 15 minutes they were going to put it down, and it ran to him and jumped in his arms. And the lady said, "Okay, I think you got a dog." So go to your local adoption agency and get some animals. I mean, golly,
at our
I'm
shelter.
pushing everything today.
I know,
but you know, don't let them go to.
Well, your exhibit sounds wonderful, and what I'm anxious to see it, but what little child won't be just thrilled with it?
Oh, well, what adult won't?
I know.
It's the adults actually that do the collecting of fancy furniture.
I did want to ask where some of the furniture came from.
Yes.
Is it mostly old furniture?
Yes, it is actually getting pretty up there now. I tried to take some of it out of the boxes and look at where it was made.
Okay.
And some of it is very exquisite. The detailing is just exquisite, which we cannot take it all apart and show you that the actual supports of the table run out just like a regular dining room table. I mean, my gosh! I turned it upside down and I thought, how did they do this? My fingers.
It's a little like microcraft here.
Yeah.
The tiny little replicas.
And I want to remind you too that it is the 50th anniversary of the moonwalk. And
that's right. You got to.
Yes, I brought for your viewing pleasure here today, which you may not be able to see, but sometimes I wear this. I'm afraid I'll lose it. But this is the Lunar Excursion module.
That's a good shot.
Cast for me, a one-time cast. My daughter had it made for me because my husband, Leo Merriman, worked on this project, on one of the engine things. And so we have always been real fond of chasing the limb around.
Right.
We will never see what's left of it on the moon except in the historic photographs.
This is what it dropped out of.
You went down, you set down your little four-legged thingy there, and you scrummaged around, got all that dirt and loaded it up and went back up the ladder and boom. And it sounds simple, but it wasn't, folks. And it was very dangerous, and I mean to tell you. But Neil Armstrong, when they announced that he had died a year or two ago, I happened to be sitting in an outdoor venue looking at the stars, and I just looked up and said,
cried.
"One more star in the sky, one more moon." What are we going to do? We just do it, don't we?
I know, yeah.
But anyway, come down to the museum. We do have the men that were here ahead of me had military things and airplanes. We've got all kinds of museums, medals, campaign buttons. We got everything you can imagine in the museum. But come to Annie, opening on the 11th there, which is Thursday, and go in through Sunday. And Sunday, as you can see, is 2:30. But come 45 minutes ahead and go in the museum and check it out because it'll be worth it to you. And there's no extra charge, folks. Goes with whatever's
I don't know exactly what the ticket price is.
I don't either.
It's important to know you can get the tickets online.
So you can go to the show.
SouthJackson.org, or you can call 455-5321.
Or you can come down to the museum and put a little donation in the basket, and we'll turn it in for you.
Listen,
that's what we'll do.
South Jackson always needs money, and it also needs volunteers to do work. And I'm sure you would be glad to have somebody that loved museum work and saving things.
Give me a call. If you love history,
and
you'll have plenty of time to look around when people are not in there, and you can familiarize yourself. If you're new in Tullahoma, you're going to find out what went on here.
Exactly.
Trains.
There's a lot that went on in Tullahoma.
All kinds of things.
If we start on it, we'll never get
off. That's why I love museums.
I love it because you talk a lot, and you get it all said. We'll be back with more.
Bye-bye.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. Check out the 2019 fully loaded V6 Kia Sorento, up to $6,400 off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party. But things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her. And now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Celebration. We talked about it earlier. There's a band named Six Wire that plays in Nashville for the Predators, and they also were on the main stage for the NFL Draft, playing a mashup of some of the greatest guitar licks ever performed in music. It's called The Beast.
This is a thing that we put together because since we're all guitar enthusiasts, it occurred to us that there are so many songs that you know just when you hear the guitar solo or the guitar intro or something before you ever hear a word of the song. So we decided to take just those parts and put them all together in a mashup. Now there's probably 25 or 26 little pieces of music in this mashup. The challenge here is to see if you can figure out just when you hear the guitar lick what the song is and who the band was that did it. Now if you can name every one of them, then you win that guy's wallet. You win nothing but the pride of having been able to do it. Now, it took a long time to put this together and even learner to learn how to play it. That's why we call this The Beast. See if you recognize a few of these. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
For people on TV land, thank you, camera lady and camera gentleman, for putting a good picture on the screen, and thank you, John, for that introduction. It's a beautiful day here, and we glad that you could be with us. You know, do you often get a call from a telemarketer trying to sell you something, or wanting to sell you stock in an unknown oil well in Louisiana, or coins from Africa or something like that just totally destroys your day? Well, not long ago, I tell you when it was the first week in June, a couple of years ago. I got a call from this lady that said she was either from MCI or Sprint. I don't remember which one. And she said, I can save you a whole lot of money on your long-distance calls on your touch-tone phone. And I responded, I said, well, what's that? What's a touch-tone phone? She said, well, what kind of telephone do you have? I said, it's a nice little shiny wooden box here on the wall. And I said, what you're talking to is this. And she couldn't understand what it was. And she said, how do you get your party? I said, well, you crank the thing. Crank it? I said, yes, that gets the operator's attention. And if we know it, we give the operator the number that we want to get for our party. And if we don't know the number, we tell her who we're wanting to talk with. And if she knows them, she'll get them and connect us, and we'll get to talk. And she said, are you planning to update your telephone system anytime soon? I said, no, ma'am, why? Well, you need to update it. And she said, well, why are you not going to update your telephone system? I said, well, I've just put fresh batteries in it this week. Batteries? You put batteries in your telephone? I said, yes. I said, how do you think that the bell rings if you don't have batteries in it? I said, you know, if your batteries are real weak, you might be in the shower or down in the kitchen or up in the attic or out in the backyard someplace. And if your batteries are weak, the thing will just barely tinkle and you can't hear it. And it might be a really important call coming in for you. But I said, if you got good, strong batteries, you could be a half a block away and hear that phone. She said, well, I never heard of such a thing. In the meantime, she had all the other operators in the back room connected so that I could hear them snickering and laughing and going on, you know. And I said, I'll tell you what you do. You send me some pictures or some prices and whatever you're talking about, and I'll look at it and I'll call you back, or you can call me back, and we'll discuss this. Well, sure enough, about 6 months later, I believe it was the first week in December, she called me back and said, hey, Mr. Couch, said, have you updated your telephone system yet? I said, no, ma'am, not yet. She said, let me guess. I bet you put fresh batteries in it again. I said, well, you've got a wonderful memory. I just put them in this week. And I said, you know what? I said, you sound real nice. And I said, if it's okay with you, I'll get my overalls starched up and I'll get on the Greyhound bus and I'll come down there to Nashville and meet you, and you can bring some pictures and or whatever you've been talking about, and we'll go out someplace and get us a hamburger and talk about this telephone situation. Well, she did just exactly what I was hoping that she would do. She hung up on me. And that was kind of the end of that particular story. But I still get calls from these telemarketers wanting to sell you a new sound system or sell you ink for your computer printout or paper for your computer printout. And I tell those folks, I said, well, we don't have a computer. I said, we just got a telephone just a few days ago, and we got running water finally in our place, and electricity came in not too long ago, so we feel like we're real up to date. And we've just enjoyed the telephone. You know, our first telephone number was 34, and we had so many calls that came in, they didn't have a switching over from one line to another. So we got another telephone and put it in the back of the store, and that number to the telephone in the back of the store was 35, and our telephone number at home was 138. And you know, we didn't have enough telephones in Tullahoma to have anything but 2 or 3 numbers at that time. But now, golly, we've got a lot of prefixes: 393, and 455, 454, and 461, and it's just been wonderful that we can have this telephone service that we do. Now, I'd like to remind you that this is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come. We thank you for watching, and everybody have a real, real good day.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man who gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
All right, folks, we're back, and God, what a great show we've had today.
Music.
Six Wire is incredible.
They were fabulous. I have never heard musicians that played such impeccable music.
Yeah, oh, they did a great job.
That kind of stuff.
How cool to do a mashup of all those great, known by everyone guitar licks and put them all together just flawlessly.
I know, that was wonderful.
At the end with Freebird.
I didn't think I was going to love it that much, but I really did.
Oh yeah, it was a great example of that type of music. And speaking about music, we've got, what is it? When's the ice cream social?
Oh, July 25th. That's on a Thursday night at 7
South
o'clock
Jackson.
at South Jackson Civic Center in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Right here.
And it'll be out on the patio.
I know,
unless it comes to flood.
I do love the patio, and as far as I know, if it comes to flood, hopefully, what'll we do? Go inside?
Swim.
Maybe. Yeah. But
won't be able to dance. We'll have a swim meet.
I mean, obviously, I'm getting old, and I've got a lot of singers coming in.
You're not old.
Yeah. I've got a lot of singers coming in. I've got Amy Beckstead and Jeanette. I can't think of her last name right now.
Jeanette.
But anyway, Jeanette. But they're doing Proud Mary and Lady Marmalade and some kind of fun stuff. And we've got Cernobia McGee and Michael McGee coming in. And it's just a great group. In fact, Greg Gressel is doing, what's he doing, guys?
Randolph's.
We're going to show him. We're going to show him singing with us at the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall.
Okay. We're going to do that in just a minute. We just want to thank y'all for watching, and remember that this is a sponsorship-driven station. We don't get any free money from the government, don't get anything from the city. We have to go out and sell advertising just like the newspaper and the radio and everybody else. We don't get underwritten by anybody, so pay attention to our sponsors, go into their businesses and thank them for keeping us on the air. This is 28 years we've been on the air in Tullahoma in this 6-county region, and we're mighty proud to have done it and to have been of service to you. And hopefully the time you've spent with us has been educational in some way or another, because the link, L-I-N-K, local information, NK is network. So, that's us, Channel 6 The Link. 28 years. Thanks for helping us stay here. We'll see you next time.
It's a new dawn.
This has been a Ron Hackett Music video production.